Welcome, everyone. Grab a seat and get comfortable because today is the first day of class for this explainer, and we are tackling a topic that is literally transforming the entire academic landscape. Look, as an educator myself, I remember the exact moment I first saw what a generative AI chatbot could actually do. I realized pretty much instantly that the way we teach, and honestly the way you learn, is changing forever. Generative AI isn't just some flashy new software feature. It is completely rewriting our syllabus from the ground up. We are looking at a monumental shift in how education intersects with the future of critical thinking. So let's just go ahead and address the elephant in the room. I want to pose a little Socratic question to all of you. Why assign an essay if a chatbot will just write it? Seriously, if I assign you a standard run-of-the-mill essay today, there's a really high probability that I'm just going to end up grading a chatbot's output. And frankly, I don't need the grading practice. Now, initially, a lot of educators took the stance that AI should be strictly prohibited. They tried to use AI to detect AI, but let's be real, that is a losing battle. Chatbots are inevitably going to keep improving until there is literally nothing left to detect. So our traditional methods of assigning and grading work, they're effectively broken.
Okay, let's dive into this. Here is our syllabus for today's explainer. We'll start with the AI education shift, move into rethinking what we learn, cover the essential skills for tomorrow, look at AI as a learning tool, and finally, we'll project all of this into the future workplace.
Starting off with Section 1, the AI education shift, embracing the inevitable. I want you to read this and let it really sink in. The train has already left the station. We can either get on board or get run over by it. Standing in front of this massive technological locomotive and just yelling stop is absolutely not going to work. So instead of wasting time trying to ban these tools, our goal, really our mandate here, must be to figure out how to embrace this technology to elevate your education. We have to use AI to take learning to a completely new level. Moving right along to Section 2, rethinking what we learn, the evolution of tools. Think about it. In my grandparents' generation, penmanship was an actual rigorously graded course. It was considered extremely important. Today, we type on computer keyboards. Or how about navigating with a giant fold-out physical map versus just using GPS on your phone? Or doing long division on paper versus using a calculator? Put yourself in the shoes of a hiring manager for a second. Would you want an employee who is incredibly skilled at doing manual long division on a whiteboard, or would you want someone highly proficient with modern computational tools? The answer is pretty obvious. We only have so much instructional time, and it makes zero sense to prioritize obsolete, rote tasks over mastering the actual tools of the present. Let's look a bit closer at this shift. I'll admit, I still have a little mild PTSD from being forced to memorize all 106 elements of the periodic table in high school, where they were placed, the exact spelling, the atomic numbers, the whole shebang. But why dedicate so much scarce educational time to memorizing data that you can look up in a database in about 3 seconds? The goal now has to move from pure memorization to actually understanding principles. Knowing an atomic number by heart? No longer required. But understanding the underlying characteristics of the periodic table and what happens when you mix certain elements together, that remains absolutely vital. And hey, the exact same logic applies to mathematics. Once you prove that you understand the basic fundamentals of arithmetic, there's really no value in drilling complex addition or division problems by hand forever. Skipping that tedious manual calculation frees up your time for higher-order logic, stuff like algebra and calculus. By letting a calculator do the basic heavy lifting, we open up massive new possibilities for complex reasoning, analysis, and logical thinking. We just get to accomplish a whole lot more. Which brings us to Section 3, Essential Skills for Tomorrow, Mindsets for the AI Era. To survive and thrive in this new era of AI, you're going to need some very specific macro mindset shifts. First up, flexibility and adaptability. You simply cannot continue to think inside the same rigid boxes we've used in the past. AI is constantly presenting brand new possibilities, and you've got to be willing to pivot. Second is creative thinking. You need to be able to think outside that box entirely, looking at problems from strange new angles that a machine simply cannot contextualize. But here is the absolutely crucial point: critical thinking. This is the governing master skill of the future. Let's be clear. AI will absolutely generate things that are factually incorrect. It might also suggest things that are technically true but completely useless in the real world. You have to be the judge. You need the critical ability to supervise the AI, ensuring we don't just blindly trust impractical suggestions, and that we thoroughly think through any unintended consequences. Ultimately, you are the safeguard. All right, Section 4, AI as a learning tool, the modern classroom.
Now, what's really interesting about this slide is how directly these AI capabilities translate into massive real-world advantages for your own learning experience. Just look at the personalized tutor capability. Not every student learns at the exact same speed, right? An AI-based tutor has infinite patience, literally infinite. It will keep trying to explain a complex math concept in a dozen different ways without ever getting frustrated with you. Or look at accessibility. AI translating text to speech or images to speech is a massive leap forward for students with disabilities. And for educators like me, if AI can act as a teaching assistant to handle mundane grading, that frees me up to spend significantly more one-on-one time with you, diving into deep, meaningful discussions.
AI is also just incredible for practice. Imagine you're preparing for a live debate. You can use an AI chatbot as your own personal research assistant. You prompt it to take the opposing side and debate with you. The AI will rapidly find holes in your arguments, which forces you to hone your reasoning on the fly. It's not doing the thinking for you. Actually, it's acting more like a high-level sparring partner, sharpening your critical thinking skills before you ever even step up to the podium.
And we absolutely cannot ignore this fundamental benefit. AI creates equity. Historically, wealthy students have always had access to the absolute best tools and expensive private tutors. But cloud-based AI, it levels that playing field globally. All a student needs is a basic web browser and an internet connection to access world-class, customized educational resources. This technology has the power to reach under-resourced areas and overtaxed classrooms, providing high-level support in places where it previously just did not exist. That is a real game changer. Okay, final stretch. Section 5, the future workplace, preparing for your career.
If you want to be competitive in the job market you're about to enter, you must develop deep AI literacy. This means you need a thorough understanding of not just what AI can do, but critically what it cannot do. You have to understand its limitations inside and out. An AI might confidently tell you it can execute a specific task, but you need the literacy to spot when it's just hallucinating or severely limited in its capacity. And with all that power comes immense responsibility. Just because you can do something doesn't mean you should. I stress this to my computer science students constantly. Thinking responsibly about how we use these tools isn't just some fun elective anymore. It is a core requirement. You always have to step back and ask yourself, what is the societal impact here? What are the unintended consequences of deploying this AI solution? Trustworthy AI governance has to be an ongoing, active conversation, not just a quick afterthought when things go wrong. So let's loop back to that opening dilemma about the essay. Compare the old standard of having students write essays from scratch, all alone in their dorms, versus engaging in live interactive debates. While essay writing definitely still holds some value, interactive communication and thinking on your feet are going to be far more vital for your future. When you're sitting in a boardroom, you won't be able to just hit pause and ask an AI for the perfect response. You have to communicate, adapt, and demonstrate your critical thinking in the moment. So I want to leave the class today with this final provocative exam question to chew on. Are we training to live in the past, or are we equipping ourselves to compete in the modern era of AI? Because AI is not some passing fad. There's no future boss who's going to hand you a massive project and say, by the way, whatever you do, don't use AI to help you. The jobs of tomorrow demand the very best tools of today. And the only way you can effectively prepare for an AI-driven workplace is to thoroughly master AI in the classroom first. Class dismissed.